Xining Wildlife Park is not among the world's most famous zoos, yet it has one attraction that really draws in visitors, and that is snow leopards. Shui is one of them. Born in 2016, it was the only artificially bred snow leopard in China at the time. This one is named Da Hu. Now well into its late years, it was abandoned by its parents at birth. Mountain herdsmen found it and sent it to Xining Wildlife Park. In an area of the park that is not open to visitors, two newcomers have settled down. Xining Wildlife Park is also called the Qinghai Wildlife Rescue and Breeding Center because it saves injured animals found in the wild and carries out captive breeding. This snow leopard hiding inside is named Lingshuang. It came to the park at the age of 2, in a state of paralysis and unable to eat. Keepers spent half a year treating it and helping it to stand up again. But it was never again able to hunt on its own, so the park decided not to send it back into the wild. This is Ling Shui, nicknamed the Empress. In November 2017, herdsmen found it badly injured and sent it to Xining. Ling Shui received 2 operations, in Xining and Beijing, and has since been living in a customized cage.
他们第一次手术完了以后，他就是跳窗台啊。你看这么高的墙，他跳上来下来那一下，冲劲儿特别大。不管是用什么样的材料给他做这个手术，也经不起他那种跳。限制他活动，哪怕是让他多关一段时间都可以。
The summer of 2019 was a time of celebration at Xining Wildlife Park. Shui Mo and You Hua, 2 younger sisters of Shui, were born.
来吧，小宝贝儿，快点过来，别喊。你得对着。
It was another successful attempt to artificially breed snow leopards in China after Shui. Unfortunately, the 2 cubs fell sick 3 months after they were born, so the park stopped their breastfeeding early and gave them medication.
这个传染病呢，其实如果从大数据来看的话，对猫科动物的这个影响是非常大的，就是它致死率非常高，啊。但是呢，我们及时的检测出来了，然后我们也及时的进行了人工这个医疗的干预，进行了治疗，然后只用了1周的时间，他们就康复了。也给我们提了个醒，我们应该把我们的免疫的这个时间，我们的免疫的程序要提前往前移。
54.48。54.49。别跑啊！
Shui Mo and You Hua pulled through the disease, but a few months later they had trouble eating. The wildlife park had to turn to experts from Beijing for help.
小心咬一口。
那我们要拿它眼睛。
如果让人张嘴露那个牙齿，我知道，你把这嘴唇给掀起来。
那我能听一下它心吗？
都照着。这个犬齿断了以后，现在牙髓感染，牙髓感染导致根尖周炎。
就这样。
我摸一下啊。这里面现在是脓，这里面有脓，别使劲挤了，要不然。现在要把这颗牙拔了，然后把这块
已经破了，
这块要切开，然后把这牙拔了，然后把脓排出来。这是乳齿，拔就拔了。你戴眼压计了吗
6个月。
那海龙再抱上，他测个眼压，咱们看看小抱眼压是多少正常。没事，你看看是不是都是26、27，那就记住了，以后
30左右，28。
那差不多，那就是说咱们这个血豹来说，不超过30都是正常的啊。咱们以后这眼压这数据咱们就有了，相当于。在人工育幼方面，水墨油画对我们提高了一个档次，这是非常成功的。现在我们园里的这个珍稀的猫科动物，我们做的免疫程序都是按照水墨油画这个育幼过程中的遇到的问题，我们进行了这种修正和改良，效果就非常好。
The Zhanjiangyuan region lies deep inside the Qinghai-Tibet plateau. Its average altitude is more than 4,700 meters above sea level, so the air is thin. It is sparsely populated. In June 2013, construction began on a large-scale power grid in Zhanjiangyuan, bringing the modern world to a very remote area. In spite of difficult terrain, the project now covers all living zones. Ri De is a herdsman in Chengdu County of Qinghai Province's Yushu Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture. He lives on the grassland, and his family lived a nomadic life for generations. In 2010, he moved into a government-funded settlement, and his children started attending school in town. He feels delighted whenever he talks about the changes brought to herdsmen by the Power Grid project.
ngā shū nā lō tō chōng chō ma tēnī lō mē kā sū nā ngā pā chē lō chō dāng chō chī nī tā lō tō chī wō rī tā tī tā sū nyō lō tō chī pā tō rī tā sō nyō lō chēn sō tī tā ngā chā rō nōng rō xiā yī tā ngō chō nōng xiā tā tā sō rō nōng rō rī tā sō rō nōng rō rī tā tā sō ngā dē kā chī tā tā kī pā sō ngā tā sō dē kā chī rī tā tā sō gōng tōng sā tī sā mā chī sā mā gō tā sō lō gō tī tā chō nō tā ngō rī tī bā kā mā dā mā sō wā chē jī tā chē jī tā chē kā rī yōng tī tī nī lō tā kā nā sō nā lō rī tī 딱 ngami chibu tong sori da ngami lok te kan to chibu rego ta ngajin na ru mo ru do gori chome na long ta ro chen chang za ore ba sa ta go ma ko rong hi gre do ta ngami ta mo chibu ta tong so ta mo chi ri.
Last night's rain has turned to ice on the grassland. It's late autumn, and the temperature is dropping sharply. Unfortunately, a recently born yak has frozen to death. Climate-wise, Zhanjiangyuan is a transitional zone between alpine meadows and alpine deserts. Grassland is the most important resource, but grass grows slowly here because of the big temperature difference between day and night. Local wild species including pikas and marmots eat the grass, making less available for yaks, which are generally short of food. Because Ri De depends on yaks for his livelihood, He is sensitive to the number of upland buzzards on the grassland. The upland buzzard is a large raptor, vigilant and fierce. It sits at the top of the local food chain. Buzzards feed on small grass eaters, like pikas, voles and marmots, so their number is an indicator of ecological balance. As long as there are enough buzzards, rodents will not infest the grassland. A stable raptor population ensures the grassland's resilience. Raptors are vulnerable when they are breeding. They nest in high places. These power lines have attracted an upland buzzard, posing a risk of electric shock and power failure. The local power company has found a solution to the problem.
回来了吗？
回来了，回来了。
你看，哦，太漂亮了。
给鸟宝宝喂食吗？
我看一下。
嗯。
After a period of experimentation, the power company has arrived at a design for building artificial nests on high-voltage cable poles. Shielded with electrical insulation, the nests are safe for the birds to use without posing a hazard to themselves or the power network.
看我们这吧。
那个头上的了，小崽子。 你看走了，
走了。
再见，我给你们拿中午饭去了。
最初的想法说，哎呀，我们的线路经常跳闸，大黄很讨厌，我们就是想把它赶走。然后后来了解到，哎呀，这个大黄确确实实对我们当地的生态保护很重要，那我们就换了个思路。
Artificial bamboo nests have turned out to be a key measure for ensuring the grassland's ecological health. They are 50 centimeters in diameter and 40 centimeters deep, making them big enough to accommodate breeding raptors.
当时我们看见这个小鸟孵出的时候，真的很有成就感。龙宝地区17年安装了200多个那个鸟巢以后，11年有成功120个。我们这是一个一个当时是数了的。
野过动物嘛，昨天过老爷爷说的是以前有，现在它飞走了。
因为现在这个架上了，这个比那个高啊。我们这边大框有一个那个趋高性，现在我们装上以后电也停得少了吧？对。啊。
So, it has come to pass that on the vast grasslands of Xining, power lines which are a symbol of industrial civilization are also the birthplace of birds. Xu Anche and his colleagues enjoy encountering the birds when they go about their daily line patrols.
这是我们工作的一个乐趣。
第一个假期上被个牛个路主呀，这个这些媒体可看个3周去，才当这个说这么新的话是。 呀，可是也偏靠刚才那创作养猪教的，可能他们的刚才那单肉我们刚才也别来把这个都是当前面的这边上面。
家里现在都有啥电器啊？
就是电暖气
啊，
微波炉
啊，
洗衣机，
还
有冰箱。
喝酒是吧？
他们这还没有那个，
我也。
这还没有送茶的，但可这南京那个天嘛，那个是不进城的。
我也，
赶紧去洗自己。
我也。
也祝你们生活越来越好。
In January 2019, another snow leopard arrives at the Xining Wildlife Park from Yuan. It is 10 years old, and the staff have called it Linghan. Although it has no injuries, it looks bony. It was actually found by a herdsman after starvation caused it to collapse.
现在最麻烦的就是它那个眼睛，它左面那个眼睛，里面有增生物，而且我们现在人靠近不了，打麻药的话又害怕它这个体质太差，扛不住，所以我们要现在在食物里面加一些消炎药啊之类的，然后把它的这个体质恢复上来以后，然后再通过麻醉把对它的那个眼睛进行处理。
On November the 25th, 2019, night falls at around 6 p.m. A 2.5-hour flight has given Jin Yipeng a break from his daily teaching and research routine. Qi Xinjiang, Vice Director of the Xining Wildlife Park, is waiting at the airport. They set off for a local animal clinic. Jin Yipeng will perform cataract surgery on Linghan the next day. Tonight, they must make preparations.
明天咱们麻醉了以后，到这儿以后呢，要做一个 B 超，就是要看一下。
Jin Yipeng is Vice Dean of the College of Veterinary Medicine at China Agricultural University. He has been researching wild animal diseases and veterinary surgery for many years.
如果说问题不是太大的话，咱们尽量还是要把这个白色的部分先取掉。取掉了以后，咱们尽量把精体放进去。10点半抵达。
The next day's surgery is full of uncertainty. Fierce animals like snow leopards can only be examined under general anesthesia. Research on snow leopards is scarce, and cataract surgery is unprecedented.
然后他要给抱着，然后这边站2个，或者这边还得给驻麻，给他一。我不敢说我们是世界首例，但是我们确实之前的查新闻也好，查文献也好，这个学术记录也好都是没有的。我们现在分析，它是一个陈旧性的白内障，这种时间越长，移除的这个晶体它就越硬。另外第二个难点就是因为没有专门给 野生动物生产的人工晶体，那只能用马来替代。说匹配度还是不错的。前提是尺寸要合适。这是咱们的一个爱心企业吧，从德国给进口的。这3个尺寸，这21毫米、22毫米、24毫米、22差不多。但是明天还得看具体的，要是差太多肯定不行。 欢迎，老师好辛苦了，欢迎。今天赶飞机，没吃晚饭，还是去市场在干活。
At 10 p.m., a second group of medical workers from China Agricultural University arrives in Xining. After a simple meal, details of the following day's surgery are discussed.
明天预计10点开始吹这个针，小白负责主麻，主鱼他跟着和就是那个从那边转运过来，大概要半个小时的路。
At 9 a.m., shortly after the park opens, work begins in the leopard house. Linghan has become stronger and healthier after 10 months of being looked after. But the leopard still moves slowly and its eyes are cloudy. Through its hearing, perhaps, it seems to know something unusual will happen today.
开始了是吧？ 好。
The first step is anesthesia by means of a blowpipe tranquilizer dart, which succeeded. After a few minutes, the animal loses consciousness and can be handled safely. The animal hospital where the operation will be performed is around 15 minutes away by car. It's a short journey for the team, who are now racing against the clock.
这边来个人，这边来个人，我来。
Linghan is weighed after arriving at the hospital. Then the big cat is placed in the hands of the medical team from China Agricultural University. Jin Yipeng is not sure whether the artificial intraocular lens to be implanted is suitable for Linghan.
估计可能差不多，晶体尺寸可能可以。何队，你们这边加快速度，那个抽血。这边 OK 了，这个针。
The results of an initial examination does not give cause of optimism.
我最不想看到那个情况出现，就是它结构不太好，然后晶体还碎开了。第三眼睑出一叉，它眨眼的时候它就会蹭自己眼，所以你今天要给它尽量缝的平滑一点，所以要修它的这个左眼的外伤，然后同时要做右眼。月月可以了吗？我进了啊。 切好了啊！它可能是受伤导致的，它出现了这一侧的眼睛的问题。白内障本身有一个病因，就是外伤性的白内障。猫科动物就是打人就打脸，那可能另外一只眼睛在一次争斗中又被打伤，这时候就双目失明了。掌膜又硬又脆，理解吗？
Jin Yipeng is confronted with another challenge soon after the start of surgery. The nuclear lentis, or inner section of the lens in Linghan's right eye, is abnormally hard, so a step that should usually be completed within a few minutes needs over an hour of surgery.
比想象难多了。现在它这盒是超硬，而且超大，就是我们超声乳化就已经到极限了，能量开到最大才能把它后化掉，还能一点点吸出来。对了，你就得一点点剔，跟那个没说跟钓鱼似的。 我估计这只眼睛已经很长时间看不见东西了，它一直是白内障啊半瞎的状态嘛，那它只能是被驱逐到人类的这个活动的边缘，因为这个地方大家都不会去争这个区域嘛。
Luckily, the size of the artificial intraocular lens brought by Jin Yipeng is a good fit for Linghan's eyeball, so implantation can go ahead as planned. After today's surgery, Linghan's sight will be restored. 成功！冲完了以后拍照，好吗？我们初衷肯定是希望野生动物都能回归野外，但是这些老年性的往往很难放归了，放归的话就是死路一条。所以我觉得那个，虽然自由没有以前多了，但是至少咱们现在让它能够有吃的，然后能够。 这个健康能有地方安全的能够活着。
我们先把药配一下，眼药先配好。他就是很幸运能被发现，我们能够把这么多的设备、这么多的人力，我们动员起来，我们去救助一个雪豹。第二天我们一起去看他，他那个上药就非常配合，非常乖。我没想到这个给雪豹上眼药能这么听话，至少他后半辈子不用说在这黑暗中度过。说小心啊！好，可以，这样就可以。
过1个小时或者2个小时再滴一次啊。
On October the 15th, 2019, the winners of the world's most influential wildlife photography contest, Wildlife Photographer of the Year, are announced at London's Natural History Museum. The moment a photograph shot on the Qinghai-Tibet plateau wins the top award in the mammal behavior category.
Slow motion or explosive images, capturing these moments invariably. The face of the marmot, you might think it's funny at first glance, but then you realise that the feelings go far deeper, and the reality of this is that it's a fight for survival. What a stonking photograph. Please welcome, all the way from China, Yongqing Bao.
1 hour later, Bao Yongqing is also named as the contest's overall winner, the first Chinese person to be named Wildlife Photographer of the Year.
The Wildlife Photographer of the Year 2019 is Yongqing Bao.
"非常感谢，没想到能获这个奖。如果我的作品让更多的人热爱野生动物，怀有敬畏之心，那将是我最大的欣慰。Thank you."
Chapter 4, Shadows. And this image, how far this is away, it gives you a sense of scale, is, there's some scale with the trees.
Bao Yongqing was born in 1967 and did not start studying photography until he was over 40. Every morning after getting up, he turns on his laptop and watches an online photography lesson. He has been following this routine for years, even after claiming the title of Wildlife Photographer of the Year.
This point on my skin, so if we have the same lighting.
你这个都看了多少遍了？你还在这看？
这个要多看。
Your eye is already trained to that. Putting words.
In the kitchen, Bao's wife is preparing his food for the day. To photograph wild animals, he always leaves early and comes back late, sometimes even staying outside in the wild overnight. The meal box prepared by his wife gives him the sustenance he needs.
好，走，李姐。
我早点回来。回来打电话。
Bao Yongqing is a native of Qinghai, and he lives in Tianzhong County of the province's Haishi Mongolian and Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture. He grew up by the Qinghai Lake in the shadow of the Qilian Mountains. Since devoting himself to photography, the mountains, streams, blue sky, lucid waters, and wild animals of his hometown have all become his sources of inspiration. Proficient in both Mandarin and Tibetan, Bao works as a purchasing agent of cattle and sheep at an animal husbandry company. He is deeply attached to the herdsmen of the area. In fact, it was the herdsman who led Bao Yongqing into wildlife photography.
在我的家乡，有生活着许许多多的野生动物，你可以看见很多的野生动物在牧民家的周围转悠，他根本不怕这些人。 对我影响最大的一件事情，我是拍这个大框，刚出窝的时候大框，他那个妈妈来了以后，拿枪抓着老鼠来喂，那个时候的精细程度啊，就和咱们的母亲是一样的。他煎那个肉吃的时候，上面有点毛，他自己吃掉，把最好的那点肉给他喂。哇，有3只，他知道哪个没吃啊，他就在后面喂。我就感觉到，哎，这个动物其实，咱们以前说我们是高级动物，其实你和这个一比了以后，咱们都是一样的，都是生命。
Tibetan foxes are a species unique to the Qinghai-Tibet plateau and animals that Bao Yongqing has been following for years. Their breeding season is the period between March and July, which is also the best time to photograph them.
发现一个藏狐狸以后，那就一点一点的往前走，往前走上个5米、10米，等着那不动，1、2个小时不动。等它接收了，允许我的存在了，我才又往前再继续挪。每天都是这么一步一步挪，一步一步往前蹭出来的。
The Moment, which was the picture that won Bao Yongqing the title of 2019 Wildlife Photographer of the Year, was shot by him after following a Tibetan fox for more than 20 days.
看它跳起来的，咬住脖子的，最后它的这个爸爸妈妈来了以后，驱赶这个藏狐，一个人打架的啊，母亲往这样护着啊，2个人手拉手，真的，小的在他们的脚底下，他们就这样护着啊。但是那个已经受伤了，藏狐来跑过来，他又咬一口，跑过来又咬一口。拍完片子以后回去以后，哎呀，心情特别不好。前几天就在这里。
Herdsmen in Tianjin County often supply Bao Yongqing with information that gives him a better chance of freezing vivid moments of wild animals in action with his camera. He hopes future generations will be able to carry forward his love for nature and live in harmony with the creatures that are part of it.
我就想出一本这个画册，留给这些孩子们，让他们知道在我们的家乡，除我们以外，还有草原上还有哪些这个可爱的精灵，让他们从小就了解他们，认识他们，而且呢，去保护他们，和他们去和平共处。
In the summer of 2020, Xining Wildlife Park opens its own animal hospital. From now on, animals in the zoo won't have to be sent to animal hospitals outside for diagnosis or treatment. The snow leopard Lingshuang has been staying in the zoo for 2 years. After arriving as a paralyzed 2-year-old, she was nursed back to health and is now grown up enough to be a mother.
啊，行，不弄你眼睛。啊，好好，不愿意弄眼睛，不愿意弄，让他看着。对。水养掉了是吧？对。
还有血吗？当时就没打麻药，就这样抓着给他喂药。
那是原来你那个从刚救回来的时候。
结构上来看，它这个具备将来未来能当妈妈这个基本条件，但是呢，现在。 能不能当妈妈，她还需要看她的这个激素怎么样，她内分泌怎么样。
赤豹眼球大，跟马眼睛
似的。On March the 11th, 2021. A snow leopard is discovered outside a school in Menyuan Hui Autonomous County, Qinghai. Vets from the Xining Wildlife Park are called to the scene. After an initial observation and evaluation, they decide to anesthetize the snow leopard and run a blood test on it. the snow leopard at the time is crouching at the foot of the wall. There is a visible injury to its head, and it is staring blankly, as if unable to react to anything around it. The snow leopard doesn't have a strong reaction to the anesthetic dart. The vets are worried about the injury to its head. The blood test result shows that the leopard is not suffering from any contagious disease. Considering possible consequences of its head injury, the vets decide to take it back to the zoo for observation. The zoo names the snow leopard Ling Jie. After resting overnight, its condition improves, although it is uninterested in food offered to it. A week of close observation excludes the possibility of hidden disease. The zoo's experts decide to return it to the wild at the earliest opportunity.
所以我们最终的判断是，它应该主要是因为应激导致的，它不敢吃、不敢喝，甚至不敢排液、不敢排尿。
验血除了这个低血钙，其他都还可以。所以说这个血钙，今天我们要再复查一下，我还要查眼睛，都好，那咱们就该带圈带圈。如果说发现是有病的，或者有内伤的，那这种咱们就赶紧再讨论。这所有的操作最好是能够在就是这个一次麻醉的范围之内把它全部干。其实血包的应激目前来看强度是非常高的，所以每增加一些。那会儿测量体操的时候，不光是他伸收缩力比那个之前的都强，觉得体质很不错。可以。四指啊，记住就是四指你放进去不能有压迫感，但是呢又要你的手和它的颈部皮肤要都能贴紧，但是不能你的手能有压迫感。你要有这种勒的感觉就不对了。先测那个前面的抓距。野外放龟，我们要判断它是否具备自己捕食捕猎的能力。如果还能给它找到一个地盘，那这就是满足了所有的放龟条件。3900，我估计3908.2。你这生物测量仪也不是海拔计。
对，我说那个点，我就往前走了大概400米，就50多只野羊都能看见。
啊，那个地方说对，我们刚才过来，我就觉得我们那车上反正就觉得那个位置比较好。哎，我这棉裤管用啊。
岩羊的分布，东西两面都有。
那就可以。
包括这边也有。也有。
有点高，离他的家就更近。遮住这边的视线。好，出来了，准备。
那我们在放龟的时候还要给它佩戴监控设备，要做长期的放归后的评估，甚至还要再连续找到它2、3次，看到它这个身体的状况啊。雪豹呢，被称之为青藏高原生态链的这个健康指示剂。我们知道青藏高原是3江源的发源地，雪豹如果数量少了，那大量食草动物增加，水土流失很容易出现。就这么几千只雪豹很不起眼，但实际上它可能跟我们下游的老百姓、人类的生活息息相关。